If you've been trying to calm your anxiety by forcing yourself to relax, by forcing yourself to take deep breaths, or by forcing yourself to think positive and it hasn't worked, then you're not alone. Today, I'm going to show you 3 steps to calm anxiety without forcing it so you can start feeling in control again. Hi, I'm Cheryl. I own Your Time to Shine Therapy and I'm a therapist who works with people struggling with anxiety and overwhelm. I know exactly how it feels to try everything and still feel anxious. I suffered with anxiety for years. I still suffer with it now, but I've learned to control it. And I had all the racing thoughts that wouldn't stop. 3 o'clock in the morning thoughts that were just so ridiculous you didn't know where they'd come from. The tension in your body that never went away, to a point where a couple of times I felt like I was having an heart attack. It was that bad. And then exhaustion from constantly trying to fix my anxiety. I was constantly tired. I was constantly on edge because this is what I was trying to do all the time. So in this video, I'm going to give you 3 practical steps you can start using today to calm your anxiety without forcing it, and also explain how I help clients make these changes last. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear approach to start feeling calmer and more in control. The first step is to stop fighting your anxiety and start observing it, leaning into it, trying to figure out what it's trying to tell you. Notice what's happening in your body and in your mind. What are the thoughts that you're having? Where is the tension in your body? Are you doing shallow breathing? What is actually going on? And then I want you to label it. This is anxiety. My nervous system is activated, and it's activated for a reason. Something is going on, some emotion, something is going on that your body's trying to tell you. The goal here isn't to stop the feeling, because anxiety in some circumstances can be really good for us. But the point is to acknowledge without the judgment. Because a lot of the time, that is what we're doing. We're judging ourselves, we're punishing ourselves. Most people try to push anxiety away. So they're like, woof, off you go, which only makes it stronger. Observing it creates a space in your nervous system which naturally reduces its intensity. So if you can just recognize it and be more like, all right, you're here. What is it you're trying to help me with? You will feel a lot better about it. The second thing that you can do is about shifting from trying to control your anxiety to controlling your response to it. Because like I said, anxiety is always going to pop up. We never fully get rid of anxiety, but we can use it as a lever to see what's going on. So identify what's actionable right now. Take one small step that moves you forward, even if it's a little tiny baby step, like going for a short walk, writing one thought down, or setting a boundary, because it'll make you feel so much better. And accept what's outside of your control, because no matter how good we are, how clever we are, none of us control everything that's going on within our situation. When you focus on small practical actions, you reduce the feeling of overwhelm and stop feeding the anxiety loop. And that can make you feel so much better. So much better. The third thing that I want you to do is to try and regulate your nervous system in a gentle, sustainable way. It's not about you doing massive shifts or anything like that. It's just very slow and very sustainable ways. So slow down your mind, do some mindful breathing, but without forcing the calm. Do some gentle movements, a good old stretch, a walk round, a bit of yoga. It makes a difference. And you could also try some sensory grounding. So I know this one's used quite a lot, the 5 things you see, the 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, that sort of thing. But it does bring you back straight to your mind right at that moment in time. These tools are not magic fixes, they signal safety to your nervous system so anxiety naturally eases away. You know, it's a bit like a panic attack where it'll build and build and build and build, then it reaches a peak and then it drops off again. And anxiety works in a very similar way. In my therapy sessions, I help my clients to become friends with their anxiety and, you know, not see it as a threat. They see it as a helpful friend that's coming along to tell them something's not right. So learn to identify patterns that are fueling your anxiety. You know, is it perfectionism? Is it over responsibility? Is it people pleasing? Is it boundaries? And then process underlying emotions safely so that you can look at what those emotions are underneath that anxiety to then be able to deal with them. Apply these 3 steps consistently so relief is lasting and not just temporary. You know, sometimes people will try something, they'll come to me and they'll say, I tried that, it didn't work. Well, how many times did you try it? Well, I tried it once. It's not a miracle cure, it won't just happen overnight. If you do that, then the difference that my clients have seen, you know, it's things like they feel calmer even though they've been in triggering situations. They do less overthinking and they feel less tension. They find that they have greater clarity and confidence and energy. And they know that when their anxiety comes along, they can think about it as my friend's coming to help me, what is it that's going on? These aren't quick hacks, they're lasting tools for real anxiety relief. If this video resonates with you, then start step 1 today and notice your anxiety without judgment and just see what happens. See if it makes you feel any different. If you want help going deeper and making these steps work for you consistently, then I work with clients on a one-to-one basis. I help clients to calm the nervous system. I help clients to process underlying patterns and emotions. I help them to reduce overthinking and perfectionism. And I help them to feel genuinely more calm and more in control. Subscribe for more videos about anxiety, overwhelm, and strategies that actually work. And in the comments, let me know which of these 3 steps you'll try today and what your biggest anxiety challenge is. I do read all the comments. I will give you comments back, give you some feedback about what's going on for you. And I'd just like to say thanks for watching and I shall see you all again soon. Bye for now.